Yo, book nerds! It is about midway through the year, and so I've decided to do a video just kind of checking in on my goals for the year. Back in January, I posted a video about my 2022 reading goals, and so yeah, let's see how I am doing on those. So I had set a goal for the year to read a total of 9 books, and I had set that goal because last year I was barely able to read 9 books. Last year was insanely crazy for me, and so I kind of had a feeling that that trend might continue and it might be hard for me to read that many books. I realize 9 is not a lot of books for a lot of booktubers. They might read 9 books a month, but I'm a much slower reader, and so I thought I don't want to make reading a chore, and so I want to just stick with that 9 books, and that seemed like a good goal for me. I'm happy to say that I have hit that goal already, so this year has been just insanely amazing. The books I've been reading, I have been enjoying, and I've just been devouring books like left and right, and I honestly think part of that has to do with you guys and having started this channel. And not that I feel like I need to read so that I can post, like it's not like a chore. Like when I'm reading, I just really want to keep reading because I really want to talk to somebody about it, because before I never really had anyone to talk to, and now I do. I have an outlet for my reading, and so it's been really great to be able to read and then make a video of all my thoughts, and so it's been a lot of fun. And so I just really think that this channel has really spearheaded my reading and been just a great motivator for me. And so I have actually completed 9 books already this year. I am currently on my 10th book for the year. And so I'll do a quick run through of the ones that I've read, but I won't go too in depth because there are reviews for every single one of these videos that you can go watch if you'd like. So the first book I read this year was The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I just loved this book. It was so good. Then I read Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe. This book broke my heart. It was so well written. Definitely recommend reading this if you haven't. My third book of the year was Persuasion by Jane Austen. This book was just such a treat because it's been a couple years since I've read any Jane Austen. This is the 3rd Jane Austen book I've ever read, and I'm so happy to continue making my way through her published works. After that, I read a 5-book series, which was the Peter and the Starcatchers series, which is by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson. I read Peter and the Starcatchers, Peter and the Shadow Thieves, Peter and the Secret of Rundoon, Peter and the Sword of Mercy, and The Bridge to Neverland. It took me a while to get through these. I started them in March for middle grade March, and I just finished the series at the beginning of June. And the first 3 I loved. I really enjoyed them. The 4th one was entertaining, but it was neither here or there for me. The 5th one was a struggle for me to get through. It wasn't necessarily bad, but I would have definitely preferred if the series had ended with the 3rd or even the 4th book. And then most recently, I have read The Outsiders by Essie, Hinton. This was a reread for me. I adored it. And if you haven't read it, you really should. It's really short, so it won't take you very long. Now I am currently reading my 10th book, which is Stephen King's 11/22/63, which is this massive mammoth of a book. So far, I'm making slow progress. As of recording this, I'm only on chapter 4, but I'm very excited to be reading this. And if you want more information on why I'm reading it, check out my previous video, which is actually my review for The Outsiders. At the end of that video, I explain why I'm reading this. So check that out. So those are the books that I have read so far this year. So I can actually check off one of my reading goals for the year. So 9 out of 9 is done. But that wasn't my only reading goal this year. My other reading goal was that I wanted to get some books knocked off my TBR that had been on it for way too long. So in my video that I did explaining my goals, I went through a bunch of books that had been on my TBR that I had owned and not read since before I started college. And I started college in 2014. And so I had a good stack of books that have just been on my TBR for way too long. I had decided that I needed to read at least 5 of them this year to get them knocked off of my TBR. I have so far only read 3 of them. The 3 that counted towards that goal was The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Uncle Tom's Cabin, and Persuasion. So I still need to read 2 more books from that list, and actually I am on my 4th one. 11/22/63 does count towards that goal. So I really only need to read 1 more after I finish this one. So I'll just do a quick run through of the options I have for that. And while I go through, I'll kind of give like the probability of if I think I will read it or not this year, just so you guys have kind of an idea where my head is at. Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. Honestly, I probably won't read this one this year. Since I already read Persuasion by Jane Austen, I'd kind of like to space out her books, so I'll probably wait till next year to read this one. I just love her books so much, and I don't want to run through them all too quickly. The Journals of Lewis and Clark by Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. I don't know if I will read this one this year. It is nonfiction. I have to be in the right mindset for nonfiction. So with going back to school and everything, that's going to take a lot of my brain power. And so I just don't think this one will be one that I get to this year. But who knows? We'll see. Hotel on the Corner of Bitter and Sweet by Jamie Ford. This one is a good maybe. I'm definitely considering reading this one as the last one. It's shorter. 11/22/63 is definitely super long, so it's going to take me a while. So I might be more inclined to pick a shorter book. So this one's a definite maybe for this year yet. The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. This is probably not going to happen this year because it is another massive mammoth of a book. Since I'm reading 11/22/63, I just don't see myself having the time to take this on. And I'm going to say the same thing for War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. This is just way too big, and since I'm already reading 11/22/63, I just don't see myself having the time to take on another gigantic monster of a book this year. House Rules by Jodi Picoult. I am kind of leaning away from reading this one this year. I won't say outright no that I won't read this one this year. I don't know that I'm super interested in reading this one this year. I definitely want to read it, so I'm not going to get rid of the book. I just think that this is just probably not going to happen this year. But never say never. I think this one would come after Hotel on the Corner of Bitter and Sweet if I'm going to pick, but it definitely comes before all the others that I went through so far. We'll just have to see. The Lucky One by Nicholas Sparks. I have not seen this movie, but I've heard it's good. Definitely interested in reading this one, but I have to be in the right mood for a romance. I don't read a lot of romance, so we'll see. This one's probably on the same level as House Rules for me. I'm probably leaning away from it this year, but it might happen. We'll just have to see what I'm in the mood for later on. And finally, The Mysterious Stranger and Other Stories by Mark Twain. This is a tiny, tiny collection of short stories by Mark Twain. This one is definitely still an option for me this year just because it is so, so short. So I definitely say that these 2 are like my top 2 choices to fill that last slot, but I'm not quite ready to rule out House Rules or The Lucky One, so it's probably going to be one of these 4. Obviously, I could still read more than one, but I just need to at least get 1 more of these in to hit that goal. So I think it'll be one of those 4. The others, I just don't really see happening this year. But we'll see. Time will tell. This year has gone completely different than I thought it would so far. So a lot just depends on my school schedule, what I have to read for school, and what I have time to fit in. So we'll just have to wait and see. How are you guys doing on your reading goals for 2022? Let me know in the comments, and let me know which book you think I should read out of those to fill that last goal, because I will take into consideration what you guys think. So I do want to give an update on my reading challenge that I'm doing for the Epilepsy Foundation. I have hit my reading goal. I have not yet, as of recording this, hit my fundraising goal, but as I said in a previous video, I have been pre-recording some videos because we're moving at the end of June, early July, and I just know I'm going to be super busy. So right now I don't actually have accurate numbers to tell you about. So I'm going to insert my numbers right here. So I have hit my minutes, I have exceeded my minutes. I have not, as of this recording, hit my fundraising goal, and the Epilepsy Foundation still hasn't hit their goal yet either, but we have a lot of time yet. So hopefully we will all hit our goals. So that's where we're at. If you'd like to donate, I will have that information in the description box below. And thank you for your generosity. And if you still want to join in on the challenge, you can do that. You'll just have to play catch up with your reading minutes, which is fine, but the more the merrier. That's all for me this week. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Head over to my Facebook page to get daily updates on the reading challenge for the Epilepsy Foundation and for other bookish content from me throughout the week. I'll see you guys next Monday. Thanks for talking books with me.